hear from you.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. I was born 51 years ago in a place called Oldebes sublocation, Oldebes location, Kisanana division, Mokotio sub-county, Baringo County. Chair, I began my life like any other boy in Baringo, helping my parents, herding goats and cows, assisting my parents before I started my primary school education in 1979. I went to our local primary school, Oldebes Primary School, up to 1983 when enrollment was very low, and our education officer came to our school and asked us to move to the neighboring school because we didn't have enough teachers, we didn't have classrooms, and I went to Pombo Primary School where I did my primary school exams in 1986. I passed very well, being the best student in then Baringo County. Proceeded to Moi High School, Kabarak, where, as the honorable members declared, he was our house captain, town house captain. Although I was in the neighboring house, we were friends. I did my Form 4 exam in 1990 and passed very well, and proceeded to University of Nairobi for a Bachelor's of Commerce degree, specializing in management science. And I finished my university undergraduate degree and graduated in 1996. Chair, thereafter, I hustled since there were no jobs at that time. The World Bank and the IMF had prescribed structural adjustment programs, which as there were no employment, factories were closing, and what we could only do is to try what we could around the city of Nairobi. Chair, I came into partnership with Edward Kiptanui, and we bought a factory dealing in coffee machinery along Bamburi Road, and ran that factory for 2 years and sold it because then coffee sector was collapsing, and we were involved in coffee machinery rehabilitation projects, and we went across the country. An experience that I think that time I didn't know that I will one time serve in this docket. I went across the country servicing and managing and maintaining coffee factories as a business. We did Chwele Farmers Cooperative Society, then Chair Peter Kisuya. We did Matungulu, Kayata, Eveti in Machakos County, and even Kikima in Makueni. We went to Muranga. We did several factories in Meru. And all this, I think, is going to give me a lot of background knowledge and understanding about the coffee sector, which is largely controlled by the cooperative movement. Chair, after that, I had also other appointments. I was appointed in 2009 by the then Minister for Planning and National Development, the former governor of Kakamega, as a director of National Government CDF Board. I chaired the Projects and Technical Committee, and later on acted as the chair when the then chair, Lawrence Majali, became the Secretary General of KNUT. Chair, I resigned in 2001 to contest for a position of governor in Baringo. I did not make it.
2001?
2012. Sorry. 2012, yes. Sorry. 2008, I took up that position and resigned in 2012 to contest for a position of governor in Baringo County. I did not make it, and I came back to my old business. Thereafter, I was again appointed as a director of Betting Control and Licensing Board, where we were dealing with the runaway betting and lotteries that were then mushrooming in the country. And we were able to come up with policies and programs that were able to control. At that time, almost virtually every part of this country were engaged in lotteries and betting, and it was becoming a serious security challenge in our country. I was appointed by the late General Ngaizeri as a member of the board of BCLB. Chair, again, towards 2017, I resigned and went back to run for office for the position of Senator Baringo County. Chair, again, I did not make it, and I was appointed as a cabinet secretary, the Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Water and Sanitation. Chair, in this ministry, I worked, and at that time we had two challenges. First, we had a lot of we had heavy floods in 2018 that destroyed so many water structures in Makueni, in the coastal area, including Barijo works were washed away. We had dams breaking down in Solai Dam that broke down. We also had cases of floods in West Pokot and even Tiati. Chair, as I joined the ministry, I benefited from prior relationship with officers who we went to school with, and they were serving in position of authority, and we were able to mobilize the entire ministry to respond to that crisis. There were also threats of breaking of Dakaini Dam. And so we were able to restore back the structures. I remember in Baricho, in Kilifi, we were able to restore back, because that's the only source of water for Mombasa, Kilifi, and Malindi. Thereafter, we experienced a drought in this country, serious drought. And it became a pendulum, swinging from floods to drought. And so we had to come up with programs. Chair, together with the leadership of the country and this house, we were able to mobilize resources and came up with Kenya Small Towns, a project that spread across the country. And we were able to choose sites equitably, and we have projects in Meru, we have in Embu, we had in Garugoya, Kutus, Kikuyu, Katundu, we have programs in Malaba, in Seme, in Nyanza, and across the country. And this helped to improve water coverage from 57% nationally to about 64% by the time I left in 2020. Chair, I was moved from the Ministry of Water to the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. In this docket, Honorable Chair, we had both the departments of social protection and labor. In the labor sector, Chair, we have NSSF, and then we have migrant workers issues, and also the industrial harmony of the peace in the country. Chair, we were able to institute governance in NSSF. When I joined the ministry, NSSF asset was about 190 billion. We brought in fund managers, we brought in custodial service managers, administrators, and improved governance of management of NSSF. We moved profitability of the fund from 190 billion to June this year, 289. We were growing at the rate of 36 and 43 billion respectively. Chair, if those governance structures are maintained, NSSF will be 1 trillion fund in the next 5 years. Chair, on the issue of industrial peace, when I joined the ministry, there were a lot of industrial strikes between pilots, doctors, and teachers, and many workers in the farm, in the productive sector. Chair, we were able to use our alternative dispute resolution to be able to handle and amicably arbitrate on issues of industrial peace. And we were able to have our pilots, our doctors, our teachers in school, and doctors in hospital, and also pilots flying our planes. Chair, at that time we were visited by COVID when we had a challenge. Our skies were closed, and there were mitigation measures that were instituted by government to protect.
Wind up. You are
yes.
Past the 10 minutes.
So we were able to solve again. We signed MOUs with labor teams. Finally, Chair, on social protection, I was able to oversee the preparation and pushing for the children's bill, and that has been enacted and signed. It went through this House after being in abeyance for over 15 years. So, Chair, I have served as a minister for both ministries, and I'm privileged and grateful to His Excellency